My topic is same-sex parenting and the impact it has on children's education. I chose this because we talk a lot about the development of the child and its education and the importance of it, and then we briefly touched upon same-sex parenting in households, but we seem to kind of not really dive in as deep with the connection between the two. So the purpose of the study I had, it was written by Andrew Leland, and so it was to look at same-sex parenting and the connection it had between school-to-home relationships when it was placed in a heteronormative and kind of normalized Western society. And so before doing the research, the researcher had about a little information on 3 topics it wanted to gather and find some answers for. And so the first one was the benefits of positive school-to-home relationships, in which it was discovered that parental involvement in the child's school showed to have positive effects on the student's success in school, and it even led to greater test taking or test scores. And then the second one was marginalization in school-to-home relationships, and specifically with looking at LGBTQ. Something that happened was showing when the parents and how the parents disclosed their sexuality to the school. And that came into play of this complex relationship between the family and their situation and with the school. And the last one was sort of queer research on school-to-home relationships, and it was kind of defined and gather some knowledge about the heteronormative and heterosexist kind of conditions in which the same-sex parents have to make decisions about their child's education. And so the key information to figure out here before the results was that the research was looking at 4 sets of gay fathers located in a big East metropolitan city. Their socioeconomic status all ranged from about middle class to high middle class, so fairly well off. And then with all of their children of these gay fathers, 3 out of the 4 sets of fathers had their children attend public school, while the 4th set had their children attend private school. All of these children ranged from about 5 to 13 years old, and all of them were adopted. All of them were white except for 1 child. And then the research that was gathered and found was in forms of interviews with the fathers, and it was about each interview was about 50 minutes long. So the first result that was found from interviewing these fathers was figuring out a big part of their experience was picking the right location and school. So the first thing that came across was that what ultimately their decision was made based off of a location that was open and accepting to their sort of family structure. And they all of the fathers expressed a great need to find areas that were progressive and what they thought were gay friendly. And so 2 sets of fathers had already adopted their children before finding the location, and 2 had not, but it was still conclusive that this was sort of the answer. The second one was teacher engagement, and all of them deemed it was very important for them to be active in school and to have connections and communication open with these teachers. And so whether that be sitting in at school and reading a book, or whether that be attending someone's concert, or even just contacting the teacher and saying that someone had a difficult time in their homework with this certain concept, that would be sort of the situation. And something outside of the teacher engagement was out of school activities. And so this could include dance lesson, private lessons for instruments. This could include swim lessons, anything of this sort. And then the last one was kind of school programs and their policies. And so they all acknowledged that the schools were supportive and had collaborative relationships with their children's teachers, and they had not encountered any negativity or mistreatment about their family structure. And so all of this was the case for the schools. And something that also came up from the school program was the point of registration papers. And all of them had experienced at one point or another sort of the heteronormative side of filling out a form and having a line that said mother and father rather than parent and parent, or just a line that said relationship and you can fill it in yourself. So with this research comes the discussion of essentially all of the parents had very positive relationships with the school, meaning that they did feel welcome and inviting, and they did feel very connected and had a strong school to home relationship with the teachers and the administrators and their children. And something that also came into play was with their financial status, that they did have an opportunity to move and find the right location and the right school so that they didn't have to find any of these barriers. Something that did come up, however, some limitations were that all of the parents sort of indicated the non-existence of LGBTQ plus curriculum and kind of wanted to see that happen in their schools. And another thing that came up was something about the language of anti-bullying policies and kind of the lack of not including family units as well. So such as children not bullying the child of the set of gay fathers, and then also bullying and using words that would also be harsh to the parents themselves. They didn't notice a lack of that. And then here are the references. Thank you so much.